All right. What's up, Quant again? Welcome to Sunday. What is today? August 2nd study session. So right now I'm just going to explain a little bit of level play with Quantum. We just went up to test this 5-minute level at 610. And I'm about to explain a little bit of how I play levels, right? Level breaks, level rejections, anything like that. So it's very simple. For me, if I see a candle close below a level that's a resistance point, I will enter depending. In this instance, we had a 5-minute level rejection, candle close below. I will enter short, right? If it breaks above 610, I usually have about a 5-point stop loss over the level, 5 to 10, depending on where the entry is. I will click the button and I'll see if it's going to reject or not, right? Using the DOM as well as an extra confluence for me. And I go over the DOM a lot in the core stuff as well, right? But those that look at the DOM and you can see the speed up reactions, I want to see that reaction in that area as well to kind of line up with, okay, you know what? I'm going to click the button and test a short and see if we get a rejection. We just got literally a, 603 all the way down. That there was a 30-point instant rejection, right? And I got in a late entry. I entered with 5 micros. It was a pretty tight stop, like about 10 points or so. I'm actually going to get out on 2 because I forgot to trail or set my TPs or any of that. All right, here's the results of that. 5 micros at 604. Okay, so again, that candle closed right below it, closed right at 606 and a quarter, but my entry was 604. Rejected hard. There, you know, that's how I play levels. Stops are important to have. If it broke above it, I would have gotten taken out. It's that simple, right? So everything with Quantum is support resistance. This thing is still going. Look at that clean level rejection. And this is very, very reminiscent to MOC, right? A lot of you guys that watch me for Power Hour, right? Everyone's waiting for me to make that MOC call. It's the exact same thing for MOC, right? MOC is all about a 1-minute and 5-minute level. And if that level, right, holds, if it closes below or above, I'm going to click the button, right? If I'm looking at resistance point, I'm going to click short, right? And I'm going to get out of it if it breaks through it. If I'm looking at a support zone and I want it to hold that level, I'm going to click buy and I'm going to have my stop pretty tight just to make sure, right? If it bleeds through too much, but if it breaks back above, I'm going to re-enter it. MOC is a very violent move, so you have to be very careful with these level reactions, right? Because you're going to see examples where it will close below and then just continue up, but that's what stop losses are for. Level play is something that I don't really go over a whole lot, you know, when I think about it, but everything is BNR for me, break and retest. Everything is break and retest. Level rejections, I don't think I fully explained level rejections. Last 15 minutes prior to Tokyo, yes, that's true, last 15 minutes, right? Level rejections are just simple. If it holds below it, right, candle closure below, I'm going to click a resistance point. Look, we're right back to it, right? Again, this candle has 5 minutes left. There's a nice little, you know, this again, Quantum buy, but not an A++, right? Those that are new here, right? You saw the buy signal pop up, but it popped up as the move was occurring. Why? Because this cross is happening in front of the candle, in front of the half, right? If you see my little crosshair right here, right? This level formation here at 90 is happening in front of the center point of this candle. So that's going to trigger this buy as the move is already happening, okay? Way to play this, and I don't recommend this a whole lot just because it is risky and these moves tend to be very fast, right? It's simple. You want it to hold a level. So if you have the blue here, right, you can enter there and you can look for a scalp move there, but it's a very fast move, right? It's gonna usually these 20 seconds, maybe less sometimes, right? As long as it holds above that level, can you enter it? Yes. Do I recommend it? No, I don't, because it's very fast plays. And again, when you have golden MVG right below that, we have to break that 610 still. We have to break that 610 still. So this is trapped here in a little funky spot for Tokyo, but we are trapped in here. So I'm gonna keep eyeing the 610 to break if we're gonna continue to push forward. But this is what I'm looking at, right? This is what I'm looking at. Can you play these again, right? These are not A++. You would subtract a couple pluses based on where that is forming. And that's because the cross is in front, the move's already in progress, launched up to that level, and right, you want it to hold that level. That's it. I'm not going to use the whole candle as a stop loss at this point. We are just hovering in between. It's challenging this 610 here. Golden MVG. This is kind of one of my favorite things. Power Hour, we had a nice little long before MOC that had that golden MVG right below a blue candle, and I hit buy. Like, it's that simple for this, right? But again, this is not an A++ just based on the move already occurred. Moves, it is pushing. There's going. Look at that, right? Golden MVG with the blue. It is pushing. I may or may have not entered it with 2 micros just because it was very risky of where we were. All right, I did enter this at around 605 with 2 micros just to test it. It's a very tight stop. Already made a good amount on that rejection. Right, and again, this is just about being confident when you see a setup that you like. A stop loss on, and I guess this is going to turn into a little bit of MVG included in there, right? A stop loss for me on this would be a break and closure below that MVG or a break of that 89 level. That's it, right? That would have been about, right, if I played the MVG, just of about 10 points. Just about 10 points. So here, like, this is what it would have looked like, right? My entry was up here. My stop loss would have been just below, right? Just below. That magnet always gets me, right? Just below. Looking for that 1-to-1. Obviously, we got it. And then there was that pop. Now it's looking like really good. Now my oh shit, I need to trail. So this is the thing where I do not like to trade while I teach, because then I lose concentration over what I'm doing. So here's that, right? Here's those 2 micros. I already got rid of one. I got rid of one. I'm gonna let one run. We got that level at 38 now, right? 38 is the next resistance point. And currently up pretty decently right now. Just got trailed out right there. Just got trailed out on that rejection. Look at that. Boom. Look at that rejection. Right? Level rejection. Simple as that, right? Look at where we resisted. I trailed it really close on this level. Boom. Rejection off the level. Back to 610. Right? This 5-minute candle still needs to close above 610. All right. Whoa. It is getting wicky. What is going on right now? What is going on? Right, there's the MVG fill. It's still neat. This is an advanced read happening right now off that 590 bounce. I did not see the DOM, so I could not tell you what the DOM did down there. All right, if the DOM reacted at all when it hit 590. All right, that's an advanced read. Now, what is an advanced read? An advanced read is a retest. Holy shit, what a pop off that level. Right? This is today. Looks like it's levels today, guys. All right, like right now, I'm looking at these. Oh, 2-minute golden MVG has showed up here. I didn't pay attention to that either. Okay, so right, advanced read. What is an advanced read? An advanced read is simple. It's a retest of a blue candle attached to a quantum a level. Right, quantum candle plus quantum level gives you that buy signal or sell signal. Right, this is not an A++, but it's still right a level attached to a quantum candle. This is very simple. Advanced read is a retest of the level. Your stop loss is a break below the blue candle. Right? You could also do a halfway point, right? If you want to reduce your risk, if it's a bigger candle. Let's say there was a lot of room between here, okay? Let's say there was a lot of room between that level and the blue candle, right? This is nice. This was about 10 points, right? But let's say it was like down here or something. I would just use the halfway point. I wouldn't risk the whole freaking candle at that point. If it breaks that level and you're going to test the whole candle, you're going to give up too much, and that's not worth it to me. I want to see that level hold. I want to see the reaction at that level, but this is what this would look like. This is an advanced read. It is a retest of a level attached to a quantum candle. And you saw that in that little pop-up. All right, and do I play these a lot? Yes, but, right, I'm very patient with the DOM reaction as well, right? Now it's coming down again, but why am I being cautious this time? Because we're about to get a cross down here. So if this breaks this level here, right, we're about to get a cross down. I want to see if we're going to test that 580 at this point, because we have a golden MVG down there on the 2. There it goes. Right, this is where I'm cautious. I want to see if this holds here on the 2-minute. DOM is kind of reacting down there, but not super violent. There's a pop off. It's just the volume, I guess, is kind of low. There was a pop off right there. Look at that. Right, hit 579, but did not bounce super strong. Oh, it did react right there again. Oh, I'm not entering that though. I didn't enter that though. I'm teaching, so it's kind of like, again, I don't get super focused when I'm teaching. That time it did react and it didn't bounce off again. Hit that MVG and bounced off, but again, I'm going to be very careful. The more it taps it, the weaker to me it becomes. Now the DOM's not reacting there. There's zero speed up here, but it's still bouncing off, right? This bounce off, so-so. So-so for a bounce off right there. Wasn't bad, but I did not see the reaction that third time. Oh wow, so there it goes, it bounced. That's okay, right? If I don't catch it, that's okay. I didn't like the reaction. We're trapped in this little zone right here. So you see that 1-minute big impulse candle down. Okay, be careful with these signals. Why? Because you need to break that, and then you have a big impulse candle. Usually, I want to say, I hate putting percentages on things, but 60-70% of the time, you're going to see a violent retracement on these what I call them impulse candles, right? These out of nowhere big pushes that come out, and then you see a big pull, a retest, and then it kind of just starts bouncing around it. Okay, so right now we're trapped still underneath 610, right? The 5-minute level still holding. Okay, so don't worry about these candles, right? The 5-minute candle needs to break that level. 5-minute level needs to be broken by a 5-minute candle. 2-minute levels need to be broken by a 2-minute candle. A 1-minute level by a 1-minute. Okay, so on and so forth. So it's very important to pay attention to the time frame level and that time frame candle. So until a 5-minute candle can close above 610, we're not going to keep pushing up on the 5-minute chart. It's that simple for me. And we failed to make a higher high too. So again, this could, right, start peaking down. This 2 minutes trying to curl down as well. But what do I want to see? I want to see this 580, this 580 on both the 2 and the 1 break. That's what I want to see. Okay. Let me see if anybody has any questions off of what I just went through right here with the levels, right? We're getting a little bit of everything right now, which is kind of nice. All right. Okay, so that level, if it rejects the level, you enter for a down move, and if it breaks over the level, wait for the BNR. Yes, Nola boy. Basically, that's how I play. I play my style is very simple. It's very, very simple, right? Break and retest, level rejections, closure below. That's a level hold. I'm looking for a rejection. My stop losses are based on those levels, right? Usually 5 or 10 points, depending on where my entry is, and it's just on repeat. On repeat, same entries, same entry points and stop loss points. It's very simple and basic, right? So that was a 2-minute recess candle on the top of sauce box. Oh yeah, we have. Do we have? Let me turn on gravity real quick. Yes, we do. Look at that. All right, we got the intradays on as well. Doesn't look like we've got any repel zones yet. Well, yeah, we got a, look at that, right? We got a sauce box, gravity zone, right? Oh, we rejected off the levels inside of gravity zone, right? Sauce box. Look at this rejection earlier, right? We rejected the same level earlier at 39. Right? We rejected it again. Now we're rejecting sauce box itself, but we still need to see a candle closure below 80 on both the 1 and the 2. We can add a purple, we can add a barrier on the 5 all the way up here at 538. All right, so even if we get the 610 closure, then we also need to break over 638 on the 5. But for now, we're just bouncing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You can see where it gets trapped. This is the beauty, right? A lot of people will look at the chop and be like, oh, why is it chopping? Oh, it gives this and that. I can see the chop before it even happens because I know where it needs to break, right? I know it needs to break this 580 until the 2 and the 1 break, until the 2 and the 1 minute align. When we don't break this 580, I know that this is a strong point right now, right? So I'm not going to short it below 575. If I'm at 580, I'm not shorting it here. I'm waiting for this to break, right? Right now, you're just bouncing between 580 and 610. Like it just peaked up over here at 621. This 5-minute candle is, again, 30 seconds. Let's see what it wants to do here. 30 seconds. Will it finally break it? All right, will that 5-minute break it? We also have we still have a lot happening up here at this area. So be very cautious. We're waiting for Tokyo 1 minute. Let's see what Tokyo wants to say. Let's see what Tokyo wants to do here. Are we going to reject this? 7 seconds. It's going to close above, looks like, but still I want to see. Ooh, there's a repel zone. There's the volume coming in. Looks like we're rejecting it. Yep. That's why be careful around market openings, right? That 5-minute candle did close above 610, right? But that volume comes in, does not care. Tokyo opening up and it immediately pushed right back down. I want to see what it does at 580. Right to it. There it is. There's 580. That 2 minutes trying to pull down. Oh, melted right through it. All right, and then 560 would be next. Look at that. Nice clean rejection. Right, and one thing I will say about gravity zones, I know this isn't a gravity zone class or nothing. I do not play against gravity zones, right? I tell this to my students. I do not play against saucebox. I will never play against saucebox. I'm not going to enter a long inside the saucebox until I see this whole area break. It is a carnal sin for us to play against saucebox. Right? We bounced right off of 580. We did not fully close below it on the 2 just yet. Let's see, right? And then after that, right, we also have to break this 559, 2 minute pulling itself up. There's separation on the DOM here. Oh my God, look at that bounce right up. Tokyo doesn't want to break that 580 just yet. There goes back down to test it. Another bounce off of it. All right, we're still trapped in the zone. Ooh, potential 3Z down here. Ooh, the DOM is going nuts now. There's definitely volume that kicked in, y'all. There's definitely good volume here right now. Until that 580 breaks, this thing is not going anywhere. I need to see 580 and then 559, this down here. Once that breaks, maybe we'll get some of this gap fill and we'll come back down to this next gravity zone at 460, 470. Right? In between that gap, you can see where the gap is. Right? Coincidence? Not always. That's one thing. One thing with these gravity zones is not always coincidence you see stuff like this. When we bounced right, we opened right inside of one, failed to continue to break, that level held. And what are we doing, right? We're rejecting this one, but we still need to break all these little zones that he created that are support zones. 580 being the first one. We're about to get a 2 minute level here at 96 and a quarter, right? So it's immediately going up to test it. You'd want to see it reject just like that, reject 96 and push down. There you go, look at that. So this is again, right? This is level stuff. This is level stuff. So if I want to see a level created and hold, you can see where the level is going to get created with those action line crosses. You want to see that 96 reject. So right, look, right now it's separating it, right? There, pulled back down. So let's see if this candle rejects it, continues to pull down, just rejected it again. You're going to see this level get created up here at this 95, 96 area where that cross is happening on the 2 minute. We need to still close below that 80 for it to get that nice pull down to 55. And I did take that rejection. Again, just 2 micros. Just 2 micros, just got trailed out on one right there. So if I get a little, like I haven't traded many of my accounts today, so I'm taking advantage. This is a nice price action. All right, I'm gonna trail one there and then one from 86. We're breaking that level, so I'm gonna trail one right here. We broke, so we're approaching this level. That's why I'm trailing one really close. And I am trading my pro, y'all. I love trading my fundeds during Asia. My wife just heard me. I'm a good amount. I'm up $900. Look, trading my pro. There it goes. Right? This is simple, just like again, right? 96 is a hold area, so my stop loss was right above the psychological level at 600. And that's how I do it. It's just rinse and repeat over and over and over again. Same stop loss points, same rejection points. I look at the DOM. The DOM gives me a little bit of reaction. I just click the buttons, guys. I'm not afraid. I had an amazing July. I ended July with an insanely like 7-8 days streaks of payouts. 8 days in a row, right? We hit 59. Guess what? Now we're trapped between 80 and this 50 area, right? 59, 55. We still got a level here at 55. So now we're trapped inside of here. Whoa, what a rejection there. Right, so when I'm looking, when you guys are here during power hour, right, I want to see, oh, I want to see a retest of an area and I want to see a hold below. Right, this is what I'm looking at. We just broke that 80. So now I want to see 80, right? That was a support zone. So with the basics of support and resistance, what do you want to see, right? You want to see a support zone turn resistance. So you want to see it reject. If it breaks right back through it, where's the next area? You got that 2 minute level at 95. But right now we're rejecting that 80 area. Basic support and resistance. So now we're trapped between 80 and this 59 pocket. All right, breaks through here. It's going to go retest 95. All right, there it goes. Well, close below still. All right, again, I get rid of these lines. Once that's done, right, the lines, I get rid of them. And I'm just looking at, okay, where can we retest? If it breaks through 80, we can retest 95, right? But if I want to see this down push continue, I want to see 80 reject, and I want to see this 55 break. If not, we're stuck in between the two, right? 80 could be kind of your center point, right? 80 could be your center point between 95 and 55. And look, there's our rejection off of 80. So this is very simple, right? Everything with quantum is support resistance. Guess what? We just rejected again the 80 area, right? The 80 area that was support just turned resistance. There's that push down. I got one runner still running. Up $70 right now. I want to see if this is going to break this 55 and we're going to get this push down to the next gravity zone. This is where I tend to hold one runner, right? And I'll usually have it at break even and just to see how far it wants to go. And I'm willing to give up the $70 I'm up with it right now because I'm already up pretty good, right? I'm up $70. If I don't get the whole, if it takes me out break even, it takes me out break even. But this is where I want to see if we get this break of these levels and push down. If it takes me out, if I see a potential next entry point, then I might re-enter. But I'm always happy with what I take. I like to leave a couple runners just to see if we're going to continue to go or not. But I will never let a fully green trade go red, right? If this takes me out break even, it takes me out break even. Awesome. All right. I forgot where I was before this move happened. Well, all right. Let me see. Let me scroll back up here. Okay. So move over level. Okay. So I was talking about levels. So am I? Nice. Okay. The retest goes below the 2 minute. TR, open ATR. To confirm, if I do the course, not coaching, does that include the almighty sauce? Yes, Francis. The course includes all the sauce. Like you won't need the indicator if you take the course at all, right? The sauce box is something I manually, really manually manage, right? I have students that have made their own, right? If you make your own out of the sauce, right, you just keep it to yourself, right? You don't want to, obviously you don't want to get in trouble because it's sauce that you learn, but you know, it's something that I know it's not that difficult to do. Right? I know technology nowadays makes it somewhat helpful for something that's very basic and simple. But the way that I trade it is specifically, there's a specific way I trade Saucebox that I go over, right? And it's again, right? The basic way we're explaining it is orb. It's like an orb. It's an anchored orb. We wait for the 5 minute break first to see the 1 minute and 2 minute break. Yes. So you always wait for the 5 minute, right? It's a 5 minute level. Then you want everything else to align. Right, we want purples to break if you're looking for push up. You want blues to break if you're looking for push down. How do we get the sauce box to be visible in our screen? You hear? Okay, so Jeffy, this is a different indicator, right? This is gravity, right? That's we're kind of calling it the quantum strategies, right? We were thinking of a name. That's why we were thinking about what name to give gravity or sauce box, because we couldn't just call it sauce box. So it's kind of a mixture, right? The sauce box is its own separate thing. It has not, you can trade sauce box without quantum, right? But again, I go over that in the core stuff. There's a strategy. There's two strategies. There's the daily, what we call the gravity boxes, and then there's the repel zones, which I used to call the intraday boxes. And there are two different strategies in there that you can play. And I go through that full breakdown. Again, I'm going to make a video on basic breakdown, but the full breakdown, that's the stuff I go over in the course. And again, I'm not. It's an indicator we weren't planning on releasing originally anyway. But that's a separate indicator. Gravity. That's the new one that we just released. All right. This is something I think Scat called this, right? Boxception, when you have an intraday, when you have a repel zone and a gravity zone kind of aligned together. Boxception. Boxception. Okay, it took me out break even there. Yeah, we're trapped in this, still in this chop. Boxception. Ooh, and that's an A++, but we need this 2 minute to break this level. Ooh, that's an A++ right here. No MVG or nothing. Again, I don't play against Saucebox, guys. I do not play against gravity. I need to start calling it gravity. It's hard. A++ is playing out, but again, I don't play against Saucebox. So again, right, the entry candle closure on an A++. There's your stop loss. You already got your 1-to-1 on this thing. Right? This was an A++. Why is this an A++ for everybody that's new? Right? Cross occurred either at the center of the candle or slightly behind, triggered the signal in real time, right? Not crossing in front. Your entry is always candle closure. Your stop loss is below the quantum candle. That was a nice quick 1-to-1 snipe right there. It actually pushed up a little bit further, risking 15. You got your 15 right into the gravity zone. Now we're rejecting gravity zone. But that's how you play these A++. Again, very risky because we're playing against gravity and this resistance point. It did give you your 1-to-1 snipe. Your 2 minutes about to try to create a new level and a hold above 95 here. But again, we are still trapped in this big, humongous chop zone. right? We still need the 5 to hold over that 610 again, right? Tokyo gave us that little initial break, but rejected. And guess where that quantum purple candle formed, right? Guess where the tip of that is? 611. Right? Coincidence? Not really. Right? That 2 minute, same thing, right? Gave us this 611. So we're just getting trapped. See where this chop is forming. All right. Okay, so it's a better entry because it's trifecta. 521, not purple. Trifecta? It wasn't really a trifecta other than... No, there hasn't been a trifecta at all. Right, the opening one kind of, but we rejected that level up here at 640. Right, you had a 1, 2, and 5 line up at the open, but I don't really look at these as full-fledged complete moves. There's always a chance for rejections, but there hasn't been another trifecta here. This sell signal signaled over here. So the trifecta is when the 1, 2, and 5 line up, right, in sync. The 1 minute will trigger the signal first, then the 2, then the 5. But you have to look at the action lines all heading in the right direction. There hasn't been a clean trifecta at all right now. All right, well, I caught this rejection. Well, not rejection. I actually just caught this little retest up here at 97. I wanted to enter up here at 600. 1 micro again, just to see. Just to see. I'm always putting it break even if I get down or just a little bit in the green. I'm just testing if we're going to get this rejection and pull down to the next, but I'm not going to hold on to it too tight because we are trapped in this big ass zone right now. I haven't seen the 5 minute make a lower low. It hasn't made a higher high. It is trapped, clean trapped inside of this box. I haven't seen a clean direction yet at all. At all. But it's actually a really nice chop zone for the students that see it. There's a really nice chop zone, but, right, there isn't a clean direction. There's no clear trend move just yet. Where did the 80 level come from? The 80 level? There was a level at 80, right? There was a level with the quantum candles over here. Right here. Right? There's your 80 right here, look. So that 79.50, right there. Right? 79.50, 80. I round up a little bit, 80. Right, your 2 minute had the exact same right here, 79.50. It's a quantum candle, right? That's a support candle, the blue. Same way with the purples. Just like I marked this top here at the purple at 610, that's a resistance zone. So before that level broke, that 579.80 area, this is where that was right here. Right, and then we bounced off of that level down here. So that's that 580. That's where that came from. So we're building a nice barrier on 580 again. And it's funny, right? You hear the same number appear over and over and over again, right? We just built a level at 581. We got new blue candles at the same 580, right? Not a coincidence. I see this happen all the freaking time. Now we're challenging that 610 again. 5 minute has about 10 seconds to go here. All right, you got it, Heffy. Jeffy. My name is Jeff. I turned paper train turns out bad already. Femi, you need to stop clicking so much. You click more than I do, Femi. I be seeing your little chart symbol sometimes, and it just looks like you just be clicking. You have to wait for confirmation. Don't click every single time you see. You have to wait. I wait for only the best setups, right? And if I don't see confirmation, if I don't like where it's trapped, I wait. It's that simple. I will wait. I will not click just for the sake of clicking. I have to see confirmations. I will never click, right? I will never click buy right at the tippy top of a level. I will never click sell right at the tippy top of the bottom of a supporting area. I want to play the push. Okay, if I'm looking at this level to hold, I'll push buy here. My stop loss will be a break below. Same with this level down here at 59. But I will never go and say, oh, it's about to break this level at 59 or 39 and then hit buy up here. No. You don't want to do that. So boxception, Femi, is basically a box inside of another, right? Just it, right? You got two boxes inside the same area. So you got the daily and then an intraday. So you got your gravity and your repel zone in the same. That we call that box. Well, not we, right? Scat actually called it boxception. I just like the way it sounded. Boxception. Nice. All right. Now, will it hold above this 610 area? Is what I'm looking at, right? We did close below it, but it popped right back above it. All right, will it hold here, or will it continue to push right back down like it's doing right now? All right, it's still kind of hovering around it. We are still in, there's no clear direction just yet until it makes either a higher high or a lower low. There is no direction on the 5 minute. We are in an uptrend, right? Don't get it like twisted. We are technically in an uptrend with the green I'm seeing, but we haven't made a higher high at all. And we haven't made a lower low. So this is literally trapped. I don't know if Asia is expecting news. Does anyone know? Is Asia expecting some sort of news? To go from Saw's box to gravity box will be hard. It's been Saw's box for me since last year. Yeah, drop dead. I'm telling you, like, Saw's box was my secret cheat code, right, for those bigger plays. There's certain prop firms out there that have these really high hold times to consider micro scalping, right? There's one out there, and I can't name them because again we're not partnered with them, but there's one out there that had a 2-minute hold time. 2 minutes, right? Any trade that's less than 2 minutes is considered micro scalping. Okay, I got a few payouts out of them, but I only traded those with Saucebox because those were the only setups that would last that long. And I managed to get a few payouts with them, but I'm not patient. I'm like, I ended up blowing those accounts eventually because those trades would take 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. And I'm just not that patient. Like, I'm straight up honest with everybody. I am not that patient. I will never be a swing trader. I will never be this, like, you know, hourly long trader guy. It's just not me. I like my plays to be done within maximum 5 minutes. Maximum 5 minutes. Anything longer than 2 minutes, I already feel like the anxiety kick in, right? And that's a part of the psychology part. You got to learn a little bit about yourself. Like, what kind of a trader am I? Am I going to be able to look at the higher time frames and be like, you know what? I'm patient enough to let a higher time frame play develop, or am I one of these guys that I just want to be in and out of it, catch a trade, be done, and just, okay, breathe, right? Little bit of things that you got to figure out. And again, trading was a big discovery for me early on, right? Because I thought I was a patient person until I began to trade, and then all of a sudden I'm not that patient. I'm almost like the Hulk. When I get mad, I'm like, I want to start breaking things, right? I want to start smashing things. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, what is wrong with me? That wasn't me. And then it became a thing where I was like, why does it do that to me? And I had to figure out how to control, right, that urge, how to keep the Hulk inside, and I had to learn how to do that. And those were my rules came in, right? Those simple 3 rules, right? One of the things were losses. Losses would trigger me, and with minis, those losses tend to be huge. So I stopped trading minis, right? Went straight into micros. Right? The next thing that I did was the 3 strikes rule, right? 3 strikes and I'm out, because if I lose in the same area more than once, usually that will make me pause, and now be very careful with strike 3. But once I take strike 3, I don't look at my P&L, and then I call it a day on that account. That account is then forever locked up. And I love the new update that they did on Trade-Ovate, where they allow you to lock out individual accounts. I fucking love that. I freaking love that. I have to be careful on me, like, because I don't want to get flagged. I freaking love that because I can lock out individual accounts and then be like, yep, I'm not going to accidentally touch that account again. Because there's times I don't copy trade where I'm bouncing around accounts and I'll forget, oh shit, that was an account that I wasn't supposed to touch. And then if I take a deeper loss, and I have to resist not looking at the P&L, because if I see red, I'm going to want to try to make it green, right? That's another thing I learned about myself. All right. What do we have here, Michael Ibarra? Coming in, oh, there we go. So we do have some news. That's why we're getting this chop. Coming in 11 minutes. Okay, so at 8:30, 9:30, 8:30? Ooh, okay, let's watch this. Let's watch this. Let's see if there's an Asian news setup. All right, this is why we're chopping around here. Thank you for that, Michael. Appreciate that, brother. Usually when you see it trapped like this, I will see this right before 8:30 in the morning, right? We're trapped between an area. You're gonna see it starts to just chop around in an area. Usually it's waiting for something, right? Before 8 o'clock, I was thinking it's waiting for Tokyo, right? It's waiting for Tokyo to come in, and Tokyo came in and it's still doing the same thing. It's still bouncing around the same area. You can see it on the 5 minute, right? The 5 minute is just trapped in the square. And guess what? It's waiting for some 8:30 p.m. international news. Something I'm testing with FFF's micro scalping rule is playing 1 micro here and there for longer durations when I'm really green. Yeah, I've read a few people doing that on Drop Dead for like just to extend the time, right? So you can get what is it called? So you can become compliant, right, to the scalping rules. I mean, right now the blues are holding up, guys. The 1 minute blues are holding up. All right, we're seeing the purples break. I'm still cautious playing against Saucebox. I'm always cautious. This is another A++. All right, but again, I don't like to trade against Saucebox, so I will not take that one at all. If it plays, it plays. But this is, again, how I'm strict with my setups. Nice, baby. All right, anybody have any questions? Any questions at all? Right? It's in a big chop zone. You can clearly see on the 5 minute where we're trapped. The 2 minute and the 1 minute look horrendous, right? They just look horribly ugly. If you zoom out and you see the 1 and the 2, this is super duper chop, right? But you can see where we're rejecting. You can see kind of where you're respecting, little bounces here and there, right? Those that are using, right, gravity zone, right? I don't play against the daily ones, the gold ones, the orange ones, whichever color you want to call that. I do not play against these. For this reason right here that we're just seeing right now, right? If you don't have it on, right? If you don't have gravity zones, right? You kind of have this big chop up here that you're being cautious on the 5 minute. This 5 minute is still holding below. That's 610, 611. That same area that we just broke right as Tokyo opened up, and then it pulled right back down. There's the zoom in. I thought I was avoiding that freaking L with a finger. Right? We could zoom in, right? And we can see on the 5 minute. Look at this. Right? There's your 5 minute level. Look, close your below, close your below. Right? It's just simple. We're trapped right inside this little box. All right. Wealth charts. Have you added gravity? Not yet. Drop Dead. They're working on it. They are working on it. Is a 580 and 610 based on the 1 minute? 580. The 580 was based on the 1 minute and 2 minute. Currently, it's only based on the 2 minute has a level at 589.75. The 1 minute has that 580 again reclaimed, right? That 578, 580, 581. So this whole little area is on the 1. The 2 minute has this level at 89. The 5 minute has a level down at the 550s. So this 550 has to break on the 5. Right? We also have a 1 minute at 55. So this whole, again, right? We saw the reactions over here, right? You saw the reactions at around 804 where we bounced right off. We hit the 855, the 555 level. Boom, hard bounce right back into that chop zone. And you're looking at these levels, right? These levels are getting created. We're still respecting this 2 minute level, right? We just created that 602. So now we're breaking below that 2. Now we're going to test this 580 again. But until you see a complete break, and then you start seeing it flip to a resistance point. That's what I'm looking at. Everything is support and resistance. Always remember that, guys. Support and resistance. All right, there's that push down to the 580s again. Right, and this A++ here, this A++ sell is more enticing for me than this one. Why? Right? Why? Because my big supporting, I don't want to say support zone, my big supporting confluence is the Saucebox. It's the gravity zone. This, I didn't take it right now because I wasn't paying attention, right? But this right here, this is definitely a sell signal I would trade just with the Saucebox rejection, right? And look at it go. All right, and this is what, again, right? This is very simple, right? You could either do 1 or 2 areas for stop loss, depending on how you want to play it, right? Either the quantum candle itself, right? You already got your 1-to-1, or the level, right? You can limit your risk, the level hold or the candle hold. All right, risky, yes, risky. Why? Because you're playing against a 2 minute level, but Saucebox is one of my main super confluences. So I will absolutely always take a rejection off of the sauce box. Do they always play out like this? No, they don't, right? And that's a part of trading. This is not a 100% win rate strategy. It's a good strategy. It's a good confluence area, but you're going to lose some trades. It's going to happen. There's not always going to be clean and buttery smooth. Trading never is. You're going to have rejection support zones. You're going to have little chop zones where you're going to get strat 6, right? Strat 6 when you get wicked out and then it goes your direction. Are you guys seeing it? We've all gotten strat 6, every single one of us. Max, Llama, myself, and Logan have all gotten strat 6. All right, so these levels just broke. So guess what, right? I'm deleting these lines. Now we're cleaning up some space here. Now we got another, right? We got another repel zone here. Right, so now we held this repel zone, the boxception held. Now we got a new one. Now you want to see this one hold, but you need to see this 55 on the 1 break. We still need to see this whole 50 area break on the 5 as well. So until that happens, right, this might hold still for a while. It might just bounce around these 2 repel zones. It might repel between one and the other, until this news comes in about 3 minutes. Thanks, Drop Dead. I know, Drop Dead, you've been killing it on those. I mean, you know, like I know a lot of students that have. So we're just waiting for this news to come in, and so far, right? Sauce box. I keep saying sauce box. That gravity zone is holding itself, and it's just constantly rejecting it, right? But we're still bouncing off these levels. We just had a little break and retest on that 2-minute level, right? This new one formed, the old one broke, break and retest, but we still need to break this down here, and then you need to break this on the 5-minute. That's a nice short, guys. That was a nice short right here again, right? This is the power of gravity zones. My biggest confluence. There goes 550. Was anybody brave enough to take this short? I know you dropped it. I know you did. I knew you got in this. It's risky. It's risky, Femi. Like don't bet an eye if you didn't take it. I didn't take it. All right, but this is again, right? That was a signal that I absolutely would have taken, no questions asked. Just like the quantum blues with the golden MVGs. It's a no-brainer. Your stop loss is right there. It's pretty clean and clear as day. Sup, Dan? Well, look at that. There goes that melt through. Got about a minute left. Another repel zone. Boom. Continuing to repel, right? You see the repel, the rejections. Well, now we need to hold below that 60 on the 2. All right, that level right here on the 2. We want to see this break, and I would love to see it get all the way down there. I would love to see it, but we got that news coming in about 40 seconds. Yeah, chop sucks with me. Trust me, it does. All right, I have my fun in certain chop, but it has to be specific chop. I have to have nice room on both directions. I'm planning to buy a table so I can chart on TradingView Mobile when I trade wealth charts. Without Saucebox, my trading takes a minor confidence dump. Yeah, I feel you there, Drop Dead. When I trade wealth charts, I do plot them, the ones that are near, right? So I'll see where they are on TV and I'll plot them on wealth charts. But I get it. 1000% get it. Yeah, I can't wait till we have gravity on there because it's just going to make life easier. It's going to make life easier. Even when you lock it in, I still accidentally forget to save the template and I will move it around by accident. All right. News coming in. Let's see if this holds below 570-ish. It continues to push down. There was the news. I don't know if it was anything at all, actually, honestly. Whoa. Okay. You need to see it break this repel zone below 43. And then just continue a push if you're going to get a continuation. But this again, right, this is what a break and retest kind of looks like. We had this blue break over here. Right, this is the simple setup that I try to tell people to play when it's in a clear trend. We aren't in a super clear trend just yet, right? But the break and retest, this is kind of the easiest setup for everyone to learn who's new. is a quantum blue level break and retest. Okay. 15, so that would have been your 1-to-1 right there. Didn't fully get it just yet. Unless you got this rejection up here, you haven't fully gotten it. This would be actually the candle right there, 13. Might have just ticked you for, it might have just dicked you for a ticked you. Forget how we call it, right? That's the break and retest. Again, all right, looks like it would have given it to you barely on that first rejection, but here, on this, the look of this, it would have edged the hell out of you. And if it stops you out, it stops you out, and that's it. And there it goes. There's another rejection up that same area. And this is how I play, right? Everything is BNR for me, right? The breaking candle is always my guiding candle, right? So the guiding candle, like this is the breaking candle, right? Same thing on the 2-minute, right? The 2-minute, this is your breaking candle, right? Look, it's breaking up, right? If you didn't get that TP down here, guess what? It's almost stopping you out. There's another rejection. This is what this looks like, right? Entry is the retest area. Your stop loss looks like on the 2-minute was a much better setup, honestly. The 2-minute had a smaller stop loss, right? The retest zone was here at 60. You definitely would have gotten your TP a couple times already. So the 2-minute was a better, cleaner setup than the 1-minute. Let's see if this thing follows through here, right? It hasn't stopped you out. You got really close, but it hasn't hit TP either. The 2-minute would have given it to you. But this is your guiding candle, right? You can see where the stop would be. That's the stop loss would be on the candle that broke the level. And you would look for that setup, right? Oh, there's a stop on the 1, right? The 1 didn't play out. The 2 did. But that's how you play these. Very simple, very, very structured. You always know where your stop loss is. Ooh, a blue showing up. Let's see, it's going to go retest 599. The 1-minute is in a, and I can see the downtrend on the 1 now, right? So let's see if we got a new blue here. If we break below 47, but I want to see if it rejects 99 first. Did the 5-minute make a lower low? Yes, the 5-minute also made a lower low. All right, so now that I kind of have an established trend, okay, a little bit of sauce here, I want to see if we reject anywhere around 99, if we get up there. I want to see if it gets up to 99. Won't always get up there, but I want to see where the DOM reacts. Looks like it's already kind of rejecting around 80. Looks like, well, we hit 581. Yeah, looks like that 581 rejected. I couldn't see on the DOM when it went to 580 what it did. When I peeked over, it was already pushed down. And that's where I would look, right? This is kind of how I play structure, right? Lower highs, higher lows is, okay, I want to see where the retest area is. The retest area for me is up to 599. So as it pulls up towards that area, I'm going to be looking at my DOM being like, okay, where's the reaction, right? I don't know if it reacted at 580. I didn't see it. So 580 reacted, then I'd be like, okay, looks like 580 is a rejection point where it could resist. If it didn't, if I'm, trying to catch that 599 area instead, because 580 is still 10 points away, then I'll wait to see if 599 gets hit or not. If it doesn't get hit, it doesn't get hit. But now we're bouncing up and down. Okay, let's see, there it goes. Okay, I'm gonna look at the DOM now. It hit 80 again. I'm not seeing a reaction just yet. There it is, there's a speed up. Looks like it wants to push up a little bit more. Yep, there's that speed up. Yep, 89 is about a hit. All right, above 89, we have 99, but there's a speed up right here at around 86, 89. So if anybody looked at it, there was a little bit of a push, like a little, like I call it teleportation, where it went to 86 to 88 and then pushed right back below. So as it approaches that level, there's definitely reaction there. It's a little bit of DOM sauce for you guys. So DOM is very telling for me. And that's how I look at it when I'm looking at potential lower high levels or higher lows, vice versa, right? Again, it could still push up to 99. All right, there's 86 again. No reaction this time. I'm waiting for that speed up to kick in. There's a little bit of speed up right there, but it's pushing up. So I think it's gonna go test that 99. Yep, there it goes. We're at 93, definitely speeding up here. It's definitely speeding up here. I would love to see it really hit that 99,602, but there's a good speed up here. But it's not pulling down a whole lot, so would love to see it kind of retest that 99 area, honestly. I wonder if the wind's kicking in. I'm hearing something hit the window. All right. Javi usually doesn't speak about ATM settings. He sticks with quantum. I don't use ATM settings, Francis. Yeah, I use Ninja, not too fast to use ATR settings. I just don't, like, for me, it's always just easier to manually do it. So I've always just manually entered and managed my trades. So I would not be able to help at all with ATMs. That is something Logan covers a lot in his stuff, in his core stuff, which I highly recommend for anybody interested in that. I mean, you guys know Max uses his ATMs as well, so can't sleep on those. It's your birthday, Femi, this month in August. Well, happy early birthday if it hasn't hit yet. I had P2P level as well. Assume right at your sauce box. Took the short, back 50 points. There you go, Chaser. Yeah, and that's something that happens a lot, Chaser, right? You guys hear me saying it a lot with Llama. When I have the Llama fibs lining up with sauce boxes, and usually the sauce boxes can determine where those fib levels form as well, which is something that I see a lot. So I use those as super confluences, right? And that's been a big thing that I've used a lot. The fib levels, again, are goated. Llama's fib levels are goated. I also, though, I will say that in the core stuff, there are sauce box fibs. I do have sauce box fibs that do play out pretty damn well. But Llama's fibs are goated. All right, Javi doesn't pee. I'm out. Everyone always blast. Awesome, Scat. Very nice night, brother. 2 years. That's awesome, bro. Quantum is too variable for ATM, so can manually do the dumb though. That's true. It is variable, right? But there are setups, right, where an ATM would kind of help if you know how to build a good one, right? And you're very picky with your setups. Right, you're waiting for the exact same entry and stop loss criteria, and that's right. They're there. They are absolutely there. But that's just, again, right. Are you patient enough to wait for it? Because I'm not, right. I'm not always going to be patient enough to wait for those, specific perfect ones. So size is going to vary. Stop loss is going to vary depending on ATR and all these other factors. All right. Oh, we're hitting the. Oh shit! It's melting right through though. Yeah, Dom is not reacting at all up here. So let's see what she wants to do. There's 610 again. There is a click and speed up at 610, but it's not pulling down. Again, when I'm looking for reaction, I'm looking for rejection, but I want that. I want the speed up and the pull down. I don't want it to speed up and just hang out on that top side. I'm good. I am going to the Dom reading a little too much, though. I'm noticing that. There's a little bit of rejection at that 610 area. That 610 area is still kind of a barrier. Eventually, it's going to break if it keeps testing it, though. Right back up. The 5 minute does looks like it wants to cross up, but it's just not fully, it's not fully committed till that 610 fully gives out. But for now, it's just chopping around still. Right, we got a new blue down here, so I'm gonna move this line all the way down here, 47. Right, and again, right, oh, why did it flip up there? The 5 minute didn't break that 50. Right, the 1 minute did. But it created a blue candle, a new blue candle at 46. The 2 minute did the same, right? 5 minute to me is in charge. 5 minute is in charge. The 1 and the 2 look horrible. The 5 minute is the one that's trying to determine what it wants to do here. You passed the 50K Lucid daily tonight? Let's go, Ish. I trail manually. I do, Francis. I trail manually. I have my Tradeovate, I trade on the Dom, right? But I also have my settings on trailing set to trailing stop, just like on my phone. So I immediately start trailing at certain areas. No, that's 610. The sauce box is still rejecting. Again, right? We're getting this 599 needs to break. So you're getting these barriers, right? That 599 2-minute needs to break. We need that 78. It's still stuck. It's still just trapped in these little areas. That was a nice sauce box rejection there. Just a few points. I'm just scalping this just little by little, just because, again, it's very choppy. It's not super clean. It's not super clean. But that was a nice little 20-point rejection from Saucebox. And that Quantum Purple. Now it's a little bit more. Currently up. What was I up before? Right? Just a couple micros. I'm going to stop though. I think I'm good with this. With this Pro. All right, this is what I'm up on the Pro now. I already was up pretty good, and I've just been scalping it 1-2 micros at a time because I'm not going to give back what I've already up. Just a couple micros at a time. 10, 15 points trailing. And you could do some really quick damage with it, right? $1,100 minus the 20%. What's that? Going to be like $900 I'm going to be able to take out tonight. I already got a Tradeify payout coming in as well for another 2K, right? $3,000 day. I'm not going to complain about that. I caught the, earlier, I caught over here, I got this rejection up here for the Tradeify account. And then I caught this guy right here on my what's in here, right? Okay, so those of you that are new to Quantum, okay, new to Quantum, the blue candles, right, purple candle break and retest when you have confluences, right? You have this set up here with the sauce box. Break and retest, break and retest, break and retest multiple times. You have this lineup of blues. I had the gravity zone up here. There was your initial break. I caught this short on my Guardian account. That's the one. I just need one more 250 day on this Guardian to get my first guard. I keep calling it Guardian. My wife had some Midgard. I keep calling it Guardian. The Midgard account. So these are very simple, right? These are just break and retest of the zones. Stop loss is the breaking candle, right? Breaking candle. Just like I showed you before, that's a breaking candle. That's my guide, 10-point stop, right? Broken, retested, and it got trapped in here. Risky, yes, but I had Saucebox as a confluence. Got that nice little push down. Then it gave you, right, a secondary. Right, you have this blue candle over here. It gave you a secondary setup, but it did not give you a clean retest. So this secondary setup didn't give me an entry point, right? In this secondary setup, right? This is your breaking candle, but no retest. So your retest zone would have been up here, 4-point stop loss. Now, right? If you know where your stop loss is and what you're willing to risk, I do this on occasion, but usually on evals, when I do this kind of setup and this kind of entry, it's usually on an eval because there is a high chance if the retest pulls up, you're going to get pre-stopped out, but it's a low risk. Right? Where I'll look at where my stop loss is and I will begin an entry within my stop loss parameters, right? I like to be within 10 points. 15 points on a good Asia session, right? Where the ATR isn't crazy, but within 10 points, I like an entry. Guess what? If it touches around 590, my stop loss is a break over 600. I'm going to begin an entry around 590, right? It came down here to 591. Entry here, right? As long as it holds that breaking candle, you look for your 1-to-1. And then you get it, right? You get your little pull. Do you always get it? No, right? Again, it's not always clean. Doesn't always look beautiful. You're going to get chopped up here and there depending on what it's looking like. But that's the easiest setup to kind of master is the break of the blues and the purples, right? Using your breaking candle as your guide. I go over this multiple sessions, every single Quantum session over and over again. It's the easiest setup to learn outside of the A++s, right? Right now, the level play is pretty damn clean. And so is the gravity zone. Like we got some really nice gravity zone rejections right now, but we are trapped. The 5 minute still looks Very trapped. It's not moving at all. Been a good year for trade with Tradeify. I think I need to add another firm. There's a bunch up there, right? Apex is really good with the new end of days. I'm loving Apex. Tradeify, Lucid. I was gonna say this tomorrow, but I guess you guys know I just went live with Lucid. I just got the email Saturday. I had an insane month with Lucid, and they just sent me. So now it's my fifth prop firm to go live with. I think Logan's at 7. Logan just surpassed me out of nowhere. He came in strong, right? I had 4, he had 2. Now he has 7, I got 5. So it's and it's not a race, it's not a competition. It's just fun. It's just fun to keep track of that, right? But it's cool to see how many of us here are actually live traders. Like we've gone live with multiple prop firms. Max, myself, Llama, and Logan have all gone live with multiple prop firms. So Apex is good. Lucid, Tradeify, TPT. Funded Seat, I think, is a new one, right? That they were just coming in. Who else? Funded Next. Funded Next is solid. They're okay. Right? We already know about the alpha situation. They're all solid. So never an issue with anybody. I also have a few other prop firms that I've traded with because I do shop around. Again, like when you start going live with multiple prop firms, you shop around. There's plenty out there. There is plenty out there to shop with. I like the ones that are either on wealth charts. Oh yeah, we got Midgard, right? Midgard, and then all the other wealth charts. I haven't tried any of the other ones. I haven't tried the Halcyon or whatever those other ones are, right? But with Midgard, I'm about to get a payout with one of them for the first one, and then there's anybody that has Trade of 8. Like anybody that has Trade of 8, I will probably test them out. All right, everyone. Does anyone have any last second questions? Last second questions before we call it a night. It's been actually a really nice, it's been big chop, but the levels, right? You guys are kind of seeing gravity in play as well. So it's added confluences, right, that I use. Then you can see where I'm looking for these rejection points, how I see the respect of the levels, right? But right now you're getting trapped in between zones. So you want to be cautious because eventually there will be some bleed through. But this 5 minute looks horrendous. I don't know what it's waiting for. This is like super duper chop. None, I just want to pass. Take your time, Femi. Take your time, Femi. Get a schedule, Femi. I would do a schedule if I were you, right? Don't stay up too late to trade. Really start getting picky. Don't just start clicking. Because that was an issue I had early on. When I was first doing content, I would just start clicking every single setup. And then I started to get picky. Like what areas am I looking for? Where do I want it to retest, right? Where's the structure points on the current trend, right? And look at this, right? We're pushing right back up to the top of this range, right into the gravity zone. Again, it's just super chop right now. Like this 5 minute looks horrendous to me, horrendous. Like there's nothing clean in terms of direction right now, right? There's a lot of people aiming for a gap fill. I wouldn't aim for gap fill. We got another boxception set up here potentially. All right, we had this one repel zone down here that held, broke the other one. Now we have another big one. Again, I do not play against Saucebox, so be careful playing against Saucebox or Gravity. All right, yes, of course, you trade daily with students. I do pre-market sessions, Michael. This week I'm doing Wednesday, Thursday. Again, I have a family, so it's hard for me to do every day, but I'm trying to pop in and do sessions as much as I can. Friday, I'm going to start doing psychology / recap. But so far, pre-market has been great because, again, Saucebox intraday boxes or gravity zones, right? They play out really, really well during New York Opens and stuff. So I kind of give my reads that I've never done that before for pre-market, things like that. So students can kind of see how these zones get tapped and reacted to. It depends where you are, right? The trend and everything. The MVG, Max goes over the golden MVGs and the MVGs in general in day 2. And what class 1, class 2 are like the 2 bread and butter classes that you want to take. After that, right, you have Logan's ATM class and Llama stuff, and then obviously the Saucebox stuff. The Saucebox stuff, which is the bonus class, and then we also have the Saucebox class in itself. Those are like the hub of the whole thing, and then you can start to see everything else kind of pieced together. Psych levels versus Saucebox. Do you consider 600, 700, 800? Yes, I do drop dead. I do consider psych levels. They do you do see reaction around them. You just do. I know some traders don't like to use them or see them, but I see it consistently enough where it's always an area I keep an eye for levels to be formed. But again, right, you still want to play with the trend and see where that level is and the reaction around that level. But I use the DOM for reaction, so I do use psych levels absolutely. I look at them as potential points of resistance or support as well. Been crushing with quantum and free YouTube videos, so definitely impressed. Awesome, Michael. Man, I appreciate that. I appreciate the Bay-in. I was about to say babe. Awesome, man. Yeah, and then the course. I do give hints, right? I don't break down quantum. I'm gonna say that because quantum is its own strategy. Look at the sauce box rejection, right? I don't break it down, but I give hints. I do give a lot of really close hints, right? If somebody is savvy enough, they might be able to kind of figure out the inner workings, but it's still a very heavy, very, very mathematical indicator. But again, right, I do give hints into what led to the development of quantum, right? I do also share my 2 favorite EMAs that I used before quantum, right? I have 2 EMAs that I used that I use heavily, and when you take the course, you kind of see it, right? I gave out a lot more saws than I actually thought I was, because I was kind of limited a little bit, but I was like, screw it. I was like, screw it. If somebody's smart enough to figure it out, they're going to figure it out, because it is the inner workings of quantum are pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy. Binged on YouTube the weekend, signing up for the course now. I appreciate that, Francis. And again, right, if you signed up for the course, guys, right, watch the videos. I'm doing pre-markets every freaking week. I let everyone know what the schedule is, right? Again, I got a family, so it's hard for me to do every day. Right? If I was single, and my wife, oh, you want to be single, then be signal. Like, I think I just heard a reaction right now, right? I'd be on all the time, but I had a family, I got to spend time with the wifey and do things like that. So I can't be on as much as I want to be on. What are psych levels? Psych levels are like people use the 50s as well, like 150, 250, 350. It's just a level where where people will, emotions, right? Emotions, psychological levels where people look at even numbers, right? As there's going to be a reaction at 29,000. Or 30,000, and every 100 point in between. Some people use like the halfway points between like 500, right? The halfway point between the thousands. Those are all psychological levels, right? So do always expect there's a strategy that I saw out there that was called the 80-20 or 20-80. I know some of you guys are probably familiar with that. I was looking into it. It's not super consistent. Like, I look for consistency, but it's like things that people look at, right? People look at halfway points, everything, but the hundreds, 600, 500, 700, 800, those have always been considered psych levels. Sometimes you get reactions around sometimes you get zero reaction around others, but you'll see certain pauses around some of them. So that's what those are. I knew she was the door is there. I knew she was gonna pop up and say that. Are the pre-markets on the course videos in the MOT? Yes, they are drop dead. They are. Everything everything course recorded is uploaded, even the pre-markets. Exactly, Michael Bayan. She knows I'm head over heels for her. Yeah, I don't think we would survive in live without you. Crosses of sis. Although, Vivi, I said that if I was single, I'd be on all the time, right? But she knows what I mean by that. So I try to schedule out as far ahead. All right, this 5 minute. Ooh, okay. Let's look at this one right here, guys. This 5 minute just locked in a level with a blue candle. This 605 needs to hold, but we still need to slow. This is gonna be, if it's gonna push up, it's gonna be a slow bleed up. It's gonna be a slow push up. So we finally got this cross up, but again, right, I do not play against Gravity Zone. I do not play against Saucebox. I would not take this at all, just because of all this up here that we need to get through. Can it? Maybe, but I'm not a fan of it. Right, we just did break this. Okay, this 5 minute, the main area on the 5 that needs to hold is this 605. If it breaks through it too much, then this is just telling me it's not ready either yet. Right, but this is an area that the 605 needs to hold, but we're playing against gravity. I'm not a fan of this setup at all. Right, you still got those levels up at 640 as well. Maestro, so are you really looking for a long until it breaks 630 and holds? Yes, right, 640. Above 640, you got 662, then 680. But other than anything below that, no, right? The next intraday is up here at 730. The next gravity zone, you have those golden NVGs all the way up here at the 800s, right? We got a little golden NVG at 747. And again, I play golden NVGs a little bit different than Max does, right? Eventually they do get filled, but I also use them as potential resistance points. So if we do manage to get all the way up here during Asia, right? Just if we so happen to hold this 605, 600 area, break through 640, slowly make our way up here, these two areas, I'm definitely expecting some sort of reaction for resistance, right? You have all those levels up here, and we got that gravity zone up here. This will be an area for potential rejection, unless some insane volume comes in out of nowhere. But right now, it's still trapped, right? It hasn't broken out of this gravity zone, right? So we're pulling right back to retest at 605. So I'm not a fan of this setup right here. Could you explain it a bit more, how you base the size top and bottom of the gravity box? No, I can't, Sniper. That's sauce, brother. That is sauce. Right? That's in the course and stuff, right? The indicator does it for us, but what creates it, right? It's sauce. So I can't, brother. I'm sorry, bro. Right, we also have dates for each one. So there's also dates for each one, right? And I have a list. I have a specific list. Some of the boxes that might be a gravity zone, I might not have on my chart. There's certain deletion criteria that we can't script. The easiest deletion, there is an easy deletion criteria that's easy to do, but then the other one is not. The other one is not, unfortunately. All right. Any last second questions? 9 o'clock. I was kind of going to close it up there. Looks like I think I answered everyone. So again, right, everything we went over tonight, guys, right, I basically stayed within the levels in the quantum sessions. They played out really well. Gave a little bit of gravity zone in here. So I'll kind of add that into today's video. Anybody that's interested in that, right, you guys can see where these rejections and pauses are as it kind of trickles in, right? And again, like I said, play it like orb. Right, what are we respecting? Midline, right? That's 620, that's midline, right? The little line that you see, that's midline right there, right? Look where we're respecting, midline. It's just like a anchored in orb that you'll see. Other than that, everyone, right? I explained the same quantum setups every freaking session. Quantum setups has not changed for over 2 years now. I've played the same setups over and over and over. I've made well over 450,000 in payouts, right? Using quantum and then SalzBox or gravity zones as the big confluence areas. So again, right, I don't need to change something that isn't broken. It's played out. It's everything for me is about respecting stop losses, right? Respecting the sizing and keeping everything the same. I'm not going to shift anything, right? That being said, you guys can absolutely, right? If you guys see a setup that you like that matches with your criteria and your things, absolutely make it your own, right? I teach these things so that you guys can learn what I look at, but you guys don't have to trade exactly like I do. You guys can make it a system that works for you, right? Right? I have the SalzBox strategy, the gravity zone strategy, right? That I use as extra confluence. Some of you guys are fib traders. Some of you guys are FEG traders. There are setups around those. I've seen it, right? But I just don't use them. I don't use them enough to say that I'm going to use that as a setup or as a confluence. But absolutely, there's all sorts of different methods to blend this with whatever system you use, right? For added confluence, the levels, you see what the levels do during MOC. They're very much respected in the institutional level. So it's crazy to see it happen over and over and over again. But every Sunday night, right? This one is recorded, yes. So every Sunday night we run the same session. I run through the same questions. I run through the same setups. Right? Nothing changes. It's the same thing. And then if you guys go back to my YouTube channel and you watch any one of these previous sessions, you'll see how much of the same repetitive information I go through. But I do these live sessions regardless because I love to trade. I love to teach. This is kind of like my passion now. And I'm so happy to be able to do these. And I will see you guys again next week. Next Sunday, we'll do this all over again. Hopefully we won't get trapped in the super duper chop. Today is just a super duper choppy session. We're just trapped in this big square up here. And until it makes a move, right? We're still respecting the gravity zone as well. But I appreciate every single one of you here that hang out with me tonight. And I will see you guys for Power Hour, right? And MLC again, right? Next week, those of you that have, if you guys are new, right? Watch me make those MLC calls. They're the 1 minute and 5 minute levels. And that's what we play off of them. And then next week, right? We can break that down. We're going to break MLC down next week. Okay? So again, everyone, enjoy your night. Trade safe, please. If you guys are going to trade Asia, trade safe. It is definitely super choppy. So I'd be playing it super light and super cautious. Enjoy your night, and we'll see you tomorrow for Power Hour. I'll see you again next week, same time, same place. So everyone, enjoy your night. Love you, gang. Peace out.